I guess I'll officially say good morning, everybody. And we have been chatting with you on the line. I think everybody else has overslept as well, but they'll catch up with us as they join. I also think some people are also working on the CTF challenge, because I know when I checked, they had an hour to check into class. So some of them might be blowing their brains out with that and trying to figure that out. So we understand. So I just wanted to say, we love the energy. We have to set up check-ins like this so that we see how you guys are doing. I guess a lot of what I'm hearing is there's a bit of a challenge with understanding cybersecurity wholly or coming up with solutions. And guys, we have mentors. I want to emphasize this over and over again. You don't have to try to figure everything out by yourself. Our solution deadline is today. So please reach out to the mentors. Please tell them what your ideas are, where you have developed a solution. Go through it with them. They're not the judges, right? They're mentors. So you can give them a dry run of what you've been working on so far. This includes as well showing them your presentations and seeing how that will land on somebody that hasn't seen the work that you've been working on. Remember, when you get stuck in the detail, sometimes there are things that you forget to explain that only somebody that's been on the outside might be able to ask for you to clarify from the very beginning. Okay, so what we do want to say to the teams is you guys need to take it easy. Lol, not really. You guys really must allocate tasks between one another, especially towards submission deadlines. Some people should be working on the solution. Some people should be working on the presentation, which is really important. And you guys also need to remember that if you don't submit on time, there's a possibility that you might be disqualified. Okay, so I don't know how strict the judges are on that, but we also just need the time to put everything together between the submission deadline and when judging starts. So don't be left behind on that front. And then please, guys, remember to look at the judging criteria. The reason I'm saying that is because these are actually some of the things that you should be going to the mentors and saying, whether it's I don't understand this, or whether it's to say, this is my understanding of this, is it correct? Or this is what our solution is. This is the problem that our solution is solving. And something that I want to emphasize as well is that this specific hackathon isn't targeted at innovation. So as much as we do want to see your creative ideas, it's more about how secure your solution is. And having said that as well, it's not limited to developing a security solution. So even if you, for example, create an app that tests how hot the coffee is, that's perfectly fine. It's not a security solution, but your solution must be secure. Is everybody good on understanding? Do we have any questions on that front?
Thanks for clarifying that, because I was really not sure. But now okay, thanks. Now I understand.
Okay,
because cool. I was wondering what kind of security system would I come up with, but I sort of worked along the lines of what you just described.
Yeah. So definitely, I will emphasize again, it is not a security solution. It is a solution that is secure. So what you guys will remember from the presentation we did, or the masterclass we did yesterday, is we had a bit of a discussion about how it's becoming harder for people to understand security on their side as well. So it's our responsibility as solution developers to create applications that are inherently secure. So all that means is asking yourself the question about whatever solution you're developing across whatever industry, using solving whatever problem, is your solution secure? So we had a couple of presentations that were probing some potential problems that you guys could be solving. There was data that was provided in terms of what you can look at from a problem perspective and try to create a solution to address that. Whatever it is that you develop, just make sure that it's secure. Take a look at the common vulnerabilities. If you don't know what those are, the mentors are there. We have a whole group of people that are eagerly awaiting for you guys to ask them questions. So I'll just go through the judging criteria again at a high level, just to touch base. Remember, we're looking at the scenario that you guys are resolving. So what is the solution that you are actually providing? Is there a need for this? Have you taken consideration into the threats that could occur? So remember, we had was it Kovlin? Kovlin had a discussion about the threats that exist and some cybersecurity organized crime scenarios that are happening. Have you discussed that in your presentation that you'll be giving, showing that you guys have paid attention to the potential vulnerabilities in your solution and how you've gone about fixing that, or making sure that those vulnerabilities can't be exploited? By exploited, meaning they can't take advantage of those weaknesses that are in your systems. An example of that is if you are asking for an ID number, that field should only be accepting numbers, right? Because that limits people trying to come in and run scripts in that text box, for example. If you have login, like Dane had said yesterday, perhaps you want to include two-factor authentication just to make sure that the actual user who's logging in is the user and not limiting it to only a password. Looking at the demo, right? Are you able to demonstrate your solution, and how does it look? And are you attempting to do a SQL injection on your own solution to show that it's not working? Of course, I'm just making examples, right? We have to see your understanding of security, how you've secured your solution. And I think more importantly, that it's in your presentation as well. And then from a compliance perspective, have you considered any laws or regulations that are in South Africa? So for example, POPI has just come in. Yesterday in the resources channel, we did share the conditions for POPIA, but I think one of the easiest ones to consider that everybody was looking forward to is being able to opt in and out of receiving communications, right? That's a very small component of POPIA, but I think it's one that everybody would probably understand in this session, but there are a lot of factors to look into. And then how your presentation. So remember, guys, you've got 6 minutes to present and 4 minutes for Q&A. And yes, we do say that if you didn't finish presenting within 6 minutes, we do ask the judges if you can continue into the Q&A time. But what I'd recommend, as we've said about splitting the tasks, make sure that the person who's presenting or the people who are presenting use that 6 minutes to present the end-to-end solution that you guys have developed. And something that's really important is don't try to do everything, right? Make sure that you have focused on something specific and you're looking at the judging criteria to see that you have addressed all of that, especially in your presentation format. So what usually helps is to not leave the judges guessing about whether or not you actually address certain things, but to actually include those in your presentation. And remember that within your presentation, you will have to demo as well. So practice is really good for that. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have any questions right now. Okay, no questions. Okay. So having said what I've said from the judging criteria, do you guys understand everything that we've said? Like, do you guys know how you'd go about showing that your solution had a specific vulnerability and now doesn't have that vulnerability anymore? Hello? Guys, it's becoming evident that you didn't sleep enough. Nathan, do you want to give us a bit of a rundown or overview in terms of what's been happening from a CTF perspective and some of the things that you've seen from that perspective or from that side?
Sorry, sorry, my line's a bit bad. That was directed towards me, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
CTF, we had a lot of fun yesterday. I think the big difference between this CTF and the last couple of CTFs is last night I was very, very impressed that 7 out of the 10 remaining students actually took flags. So not only did they all, decipher the invite, but they also managed to break into a system on the internet. And they didn't manage to get root access, but they did manage to break in. And 7 out of 10 kids, most of them who have never taken part in anything like this before. As a matter of fact, I should probably only 1 or 2 have ever taken part in something like this before. For 7 of them to get that right, that was quite impressive. It took a lot of hard work, though. I think the last person got it at 4 a.m. this morning.
Sure.
Yeah, and it started at 8. So the first person took it at 8 p.m. last night. The last person took it at 4 a.m. this morning. So that's some serious determination. So I'm super impressed with the guys. We are missing a few people because the hackathon pressures are big. So we lost, we lost some good people. Michelle did well. Jerry did really well. Started off a bit slow, picked up, and then he was the first flag taker on yesterday at 8 p.m. So you also can see a lot of kids learning right fast. So they start off not knowing much and then they catch up really quickly.
Yeah.
And suddenly they take the lead. Yeah. So it's quite exciting.
That's really amazing. That's good to hear. Thank you for that update, Nathan. So I see the question from you, Michelle, about what time should you submit the solution? And then in terms of the demo, can you just show how the app would behave? Cool. So from the hackathon side, the submission deadline is 1 o'clock, right? So you guys have to have your solutions submitted by 1 o'clock. And then we will start judging the judges will start judging at 2 o'clock. But what we'd like to ask is that everybody comes onto the call by 1:45, so that exactly at 2 o'clock we can kick off and start. We've got a number of teams that we need to get through. It'll be very nice if you guys can also be on, as I've said, because you haven't had visibility of the other people's ideas and solutions, to see what they've come up with and to see if there are some things that you guys can take away from that and learn from them. And also usually the Slack pages stay open, for quite some time after the hackathon is done. So it would be really great if you guys also maybe interact with one another, even after the hackathon, based on some of the solutions you see, and you guys can engage together and see how to take it forward. So how the program is going to go for today is we are having the morning update right now. Between 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock, we expect that you would have submitted your solutions. Please include your presentations, right? Your presentations must be submitted as well. And we will then get the list of all of the teams that will be doing their presentations. And then we expect presentations to go from about 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. That will depend on the number of teams that we have, but we think that it will fit into that. If it goes slightly over, well, that just means we have more fun looking at more solutions, right? And then from 5 o'clock to about 5:15, 10:05, we'll have the judges just going through all of the criteria, speaking about the teams and the outcomes and selecting a winner. And then the winners will be announced. Misha will be taking us through the prizes just now. And then we'll be having a launch of Reaiketeta, which is I'm thinking of the word. What's the word? So essentially, it's a network, and it's going to be an organization that's part of Geekulcha that is specifically focused on empowering women in the IT space. I mean, it is the 1st of August, so happy Women's Day to all the women out there, right? It's Women's Month. Remember to spoil all the women in your life. And sorry, I just saw something on text. So yeah, we'll be doing a small launch of that just so everybody has visibility. They'll be having events and functions going forward. I see Charlotte as well says she'll be posting the list of teams on Slack just after the call based on the teams that are active, and to let her know if you are then not on the list. Okay, let me take some questions from you guys. I don't know if you guys do have questions right now.
I have a question.
Right, let's hear it.
What are the prizes?
Michelle, hand over to you.
Morning, guys. Again, sorry, I was on mute. Yes, the prices. Cool. So let me just slightly take them right from the beginning. We are gonna just give a few spot prices. Some are picking up from yesterday, and some are from the morning sunrise sharing that we did. But the hackathon prices, let's break them down. From the beginning, from the bottom actually. The fastest learner, most improved. This is more from the CTF, the CTF challenge. So there's going to be 5,000 Rand for the fastest learner, most improved individual. Then the CTF challenge winner gets 5,000 Rand plus internship consideration from Snow Technologies. So fingers crossed for you there. And then we're going to have the best female star. So ladies, you still got time to pump up this one. And 9,500 worth of training from WWISE. So that's for the best female star. And then the third place, this is now for the hackathon overall prices. The third place gets 3,000 Rand, including Panda security license per member. And then to the second place, 6,000 Rand, including Panda security license per member. And then the first place, can I get a drum roll? Thank you, guys. The first place gets 15,000 Rand, including Panda security license per member, plus first internship consideration at partners. So the partners are Redshift, Snow Technologies, and CSIR. Yeah, so that's just a little bit of a breakdown in terms of the prizes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I also have a question.
I see the prices got people woke up. Yeah, please. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Who got the 200 Rand from yesterday? The one for lunch, free lunch.
All right, so the free lunch went to Michelle. So what you're gonna be doing is all the winners, we're gonna be putting them up on Slack. So the first prize that went up yesterday went to Michelle for the lunch. We do have a few more lined up for today. And then we'll just first take care of the outstanding ones, and then we'll go over to the next ones. Happy Kumu?
Michelle is winning everything.
Yo, did she win everything? That's interesting. Okay, guys. So I mean, this is supposed to run until, I guess, 10 o'clock. It's supposed to run for an hour, but more than anything, it's just to do a catch up. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking where you guys could be working on your solutions instead, especially because the deadline is around the corner. We will be keeping you guys up to date, but please, 1 o'clock, all submissions must be in. Okay, please, 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 the mentors are available. Utilize them, use them. They are ready, they are eager, they've got the answers. And if the specific mentor that you ask doesn't have the answer, there is another mentor that does have the answer. I think something that we've all learned through this hackathon is cybersecurity is a broad space, and there are lots of things to consider. So we've gotten people in who will be able to answer questions from each of the different angles that you might come asking them. So I don't know.
do have another question. Sorry.
Yes.
It was quite important. So for our demo, so I've made it like a prototype in React. So should I upload it to like a GitHub, or should I just take a video of what it does and then use that as the demo?
Michelle?
So you can do both, but in terms of from a presentation side, just to manage things like connectivity, you can share the video with us, and if there's a particular area or the whole video you want us to play, we can do that. Just obviously be mindful of the time provided. So when it comes to packaging a video.
Okay, and then like the overall presentation is like 6 minutes. So can we just include that video in the presentation?
I mean, it would be great to hear your voice, the actual live voice. So yes, package as much as possible if you can. But I know that they will require at least to have the slides separate. So work on them. But in terms of the video, just package as much as you can. Let it play, but also come in, just to support the content within the video.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. That answers my question.
Awesome stuff.
We have any questions?
Yeah, guys, this is a great time to ask as many questions as possible relating to the build up to the presentation. But also, I mean, if you want to engage with mentors, you can go to Slack and ask them. I see Nathan is still here. You can ask him. Ridwan is still here as well. There's also Stembile. You can also ask them questions.
Jabu, I see you've got a hand, so you can let us know what your question is or comment.
Okay, morning, guys.
Morning.
So I just want to do a follow-up on Jordan's question as well. So are Figma prototypes also allowed, or it has to have a code? Did you get the question?
Yes, we did. So how will you then show, I mean, if you're able to show that you've reduced vulnerabilities, a lot of the time it is through code. But if you're able to demonstrate your understanding of how you would do that, what resources you would use, etc., that would also work. But I guess the judges might want to see code. We are not the judges, right? So please just refer to the judging criteria. It is on Slack as well. We're happy to share it again if we must, but what's really important through this hackathon is to demonstrate your understanding of securing a solution.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that part is going to be very important. They want to see how do you go about it, how did you do it, and it's going to be important to somehow show that part. As much as you can talk it through, it helps for them to see in terms of how did you come about it.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. So I think that's it, but we'll just stay on the line in case anybody remembers any questions that they have for us a short time. So we've gotten confirmation that the session is actually supposed to end at 9:30. So for you guys to also get back to working on your solutions, remember guys, presentations, look at the judging criteria, explain your understanding from a security perspective, use the mentors, bounce your ideas off of them. SafeHack 2021 live stream. You've got a hand.
Thank you. So, good morning to everyone. Just to emphasize, I've posted the guidance. Oh, this is Diani, by the way. I've posted guidance on the resources channel in terms of what you need to consider for the presentations. And then the most important point there is that the teams that are doing the CTF challenge, you are not going to necessarily have a normal presentations as such. But we'll have a reflection, and Nathan will be leading the judging process for that. And a winner of the CTF challenge will be announced at the same time as the other winners of the hackathon. And a reminder that you've got 6 minutes to present. It is up to you in terms of how do you structure that time. If you want to if you can do the entire PowerPoint presentation in 2 minutes, that's fine. If you can do it in 3 minutes, that's fine. But the most important thing is that you've got 6 minutes, and it's up to you to essentially structure how the presentation will go. And we do recommend that if you've got a team, identify each other's strengths and allocate tasks accordingly. Maybe one person can present another part and such. But equally, if in your team you recognize that someone is best at presentation, let them present, but by all means, so it's fine to only have one person presenting, but the most important thing is are you going to ensure that the judges are getting the essence of what your team is trying to do? And I think it was mentioned earlier, don't try to do too much. Too much of everything becomes a mess. In your system, what is the critical thing that you want the judges to know about? Just make sure that point gets across, and your team is also considering the different aspects. So, and then also a reminder of the critical things. You need to get a bit of understanding in terms of your consideration in the cyber laws. If you've got an application that is requesting people's data, do you understand in terms of the POPI Act, what does it mean for your solution? And then we've got the SDDLC, the Secure System Development Lifecycle. So with that is with all the phases of the SSDLC, how has your team considered security, and how are you implementing security in each phase? So a recommendation there, you can have 1 or 2 slides that is explaining exactly that, to say that in the inception phase, for example, we considered this when we're planning our solution. This is how we planned with security, and we implemented that plan. From a design perspective, from the implementation perspective, can even look at deployment, and then also how you're going to be maintaining it as well, which is just quite important as well. So another recommendation is that in a team, just make sure that other members are also doing research. It's important to be doing research, and understand the basics of these things. And most importantly as well, with the greatest points around the demo. I think that point has been explained already. So yeah, have a look at the resources channel. The mentors are there, and they will be assisting you throughout the hackathon. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, SafeHack 2021 live stream. Yeah. Okay. So if there are no more questions, we'll jump off. But if you do think of a question as after we've dropped off the call, please ask us on Slack. Thank you, everybody, and really excited to see your solutions a bit later on. 1 o'clock is the deadline. Don't be late. Okay, thanks everyone.